Stephen Jones was asked if there's any more moves to be made to improve the roster. Quote, we don't have anything that's on the front burner.
There you go.
So then they followed up anything with the Jalen Ramsey rumor. No, he plays for the Dolphins. So so nothing's cooking in the trades.
No, if they were going to do anything, and we've again talked about him, Love of the Star podcast. We do appreciate you listening if you give a chance. It was if there were going to be something happen, it wasn't going to be trades. It was going to be June 1s, and I think Zach's onto something about maybe that. June 1 is a little bit of an overrated thing now.
Now I think you're waiting for midsummer free agency when those vets that are big and don't want to go to camp are still available.
Gilmore, guys like that, and they did that. What did they do? They brought some guys in early in camp, got a look at them, and then signed them maybe 10 days later.
What if Mozzie shows no progress? And I know he had a couple of good games last year, but for the season he was still bad against the run. Mm-hmm. Justin Rogers, Jay Toya. What if none of those guys are giving you confidence? Do you bring back Linval Joseph and Stephon Gilmore, and that kind of finishes your look, you think? Is that the most likely? Or are you going elsewhere for defensive tackle because Joseph didn't do much for you last year? What do you say?
I'm probably looking somewhere else, but those guys don't grow on trees, as they like to say. Mm-hmm. I'm giving JT a chance as much as I can. Mozzie, boy, that would be really, really disappointed if he came back and if we got in the pads and just wasn't good. That would be disappointing because he did show some progress last year in the division games. Yeah. But all of a sudden that spot has seemed like it's held him hostage a little bit now
since Antoine Woods.
Yeah.
You've had two in the last 15 years. Jay Ratliff, Antoine Woods.
Human log.
Stephen Jones, when asked about the latest on Micah Parsons' contract, quote, no different than anything else. I'll let you know when it happens. Are you disappointed he's not at OTAs? No. That's part of the business. All teams go through it. So saying the right thing, Steve, on Micah, who was there today, by the way.
Yeah, we actually have a little clip. Apparently, things got a little bit testy.
A little testy.
Okay, Miss.
They were pushing on him with the Micah stuff. Here's the sound.
Where you guys are with Micah in that situation?
No different than anything else. I'll let you know when it happens.
Has there been any more conversation?
I'll let you know when it happens.
Disappointed at all that he's not here?
No. I mean, that's part of the business. I mean, all teams go through it, and that's part of the business.
Do you expect him to be here next week?
You'd have to ask Micah.
He's able to manage Diggs.
If we're going to talk about Micah, I'm headed in here. Y'all done? Yeah. Seriously, I don't need to talk about Micah. I said all I'm going to say about it. Are we clear? Okay.
Not having a good day. That's the way I interpret that. What's your read on it?
I wonder if they've even talked to the agent yet.
No, Jerry said last week, Mike is going to have to come in and talk to me about this if we want to get something done. I think they're taking the approach of the only way we're signing is if it's super team friendly. If you don't want to do that, we're going to let the media talk about it for the next 12 months, about every other day, literally. ESPN, NFL Network, local, national, they're all talking about this. So we get all of the engagement we need for a couple of extra $1 million. If you don't want us to have that, you can do a team-friendly deal, and Mike is not going to do it. So Jerry and Steven are sitting back like, no, we're not going to do a deal. Why? Because Micah and Mulligetta won't agree to basically 20 or 25% less than market value. That's what got it done with Osa. That's what got it done with Tyron Smith 15 years ago or 12 years ago. That's just the way they do these contracts. But yeah, I think Steven's just like, maybe he's just had a bad day or got frustrated or something. What's your read, Brian?
Man, this is tough because he probably feels like he doesn't. And I'm not capping for these guys, or I'm not shielding for them, whatever the word is.
Caping.
I think this would be caping.
Caping, whatever you want to say.
Capping.
I'm not,
very similar spelling, though, to the cap.
I'm not doing that. What I'm saying is they can't catch a break on these contracts getting staggered. You know what I'm saying? Like they are up against, it seems like every year they're having to deal with 2 or 3 contracts. They can't get these things to stagger. And that's some of their own doing, though.
Sure, you draft
some of their own doing, but maybe getting ahead of one, maybe not getting it. They're just
sounds like Cape to me.
That like I said, I'm just trying to figure out why he would be so frustrated. He knows what the number is. The guy at the Raiders, the guy at the Browns. He understands what the number is. I think there's a sense of like frustration, and maybe that Mulligan is trying to go maybe north of that number. That's just speculation right there. But his contracts every year he's having to work on 2 to 3 big-time contracts. It hadn't been just, hey, it's just this one we're going to work on today, or this one. I think there's a level of
they're definitely a victim of their own success from all the good players they've drafted.
That's what I'm saying. But every player they have is become the highest paid player at that position.
Yeah.
Or one of them.
It's because they wait till the end.
Yeah, but that's whether it's the wide receiver,
they don't want to roll up their
quarterback.
sleeves. Yeah,
yeah. There's a sense of frustration that agents now know how to play the game with them. Don't do anything.
Yeah,
don't do anything.
They'll overpay you.
They'll overpay.
And it takes work and committing hours, and maybe nobody in the Jones family wants to have those hours, but that's why you pay people to do these negotiations for you, and then you give them autonomy to go do it, because you sign early, it's team friendly, you sign late, it's player friendly. There's a middle zone. Maybe you could have hammered it out for Dak at $56 million a year. But you didn't want to put that effort into it. So you just waited until they were like, give us 60 or we're leaving in free agency. And you were like, fine, 60, here you go. And 12 months later, the cap goes up and he's still the highest paid guy at the position. And, I don't mind what the players make. That's fine. My point of contention is that it appears the Joneses give up a competitive edge here.
They know, well,
they're so inefficient.
I can't say that. I was going to say something kind of rude, and I shouldn't say, but I was thinking it. But
I'm proud of you.
I really
censored
I
himself.
Were you coming after me?
No. I was going to say. I'll say it to you at the break. What I was going to say, and it's probably wrong. But
I'll tweet it out after.
But I just kind of feel like though that these agents now know. They just know
the cavemen,
which is their own doing.
That they're gonna here's our offer. Nah. Here's our offer. Nah. Here's our offer. Nah. They're probably trying to make legitimate back and forth offers, and it's like, no, we're looking for $42 million a year here is what we're looking for. We're not looking for 38 or 37. We're looking for 42 because we know what the guy at the Raiders and we know what the guy at Cleveland are getting.
But that's the question. Are they going back and forth? Like, are they talking with his agent?
No, they're not.
No. Exactly, right?
No,
so they're
but
really
that's
not
what I'm
even
saying.
doing that.
Because it's small potatoes to them. It's like playing dollar blackjack hands when you're a billionaire.
Man, I disagree with this. I think they are. I just don't think agents are taking them serious right now. I don't. I think that's why Steven's frustrated. And Steven, if you're listening, driving around, please call in.
I get
and tell me I'm full
if that's the case.
So you're saying they are trying to hammer out these deals, even though Jerry says I talked to the guy in 6 weeks.
I think they are trying to hammer out deals. I think agents are playing the slow game with them.
Yeah, there's
Mulligan not taking the calls. And I'm not defending the Joneses. I'm just saying though, if I'm an agent and I've got Micah Parsons, there is no reason for me to take a phone call from the Cowboys. Because their offer is going to be $37 million.
And even if you get hurt, they're still going to pay you.
Yeah.
You didn't get hurt.
But they're going to 38. Okay, let's go to 38.
The reason to call is that I'm worried my client's going to get hurt. But you don't have to worry about that with the Cowboys.
Steven, I think, is to the point now where he is frustrated because the way their major deals have gone, it has ended poorly for them. They've got the players done, but he's probably pissed. He gave Dak $60 million, and that one's not going to get passed for a while.
No, and Diggs. They pay Diggs, and that's one that's looked poorly for them as well.
Here's why I can't believe that, Brian.
Okay.
As much as I want to. They're too good at negotiating. They've been in the NFL for 3-4 decades.
They're good at negotiating.
They would not accidentally get their ass whipped like this.
They're getting their ass whipped right now, though.
They have been for years now. Like, they're good at negotiating businesses. I don't think they're any more good at negotiating in the NFL.
I think they just don't care.
That could be. That very well could be.
I don't know. I sense Stephen Jones being very frustrated by the situation.
That sounded like frustration.
That sounded like
I want to get something done. I can't get it done.
That sounds like David Mulligetta is not willing to sit down with me right now and hammer this out. That's what that sounds like to me. Because there's no reason to. There's absolutely because he's Steven and Ada Pacifica, and then they're going to offer 37.5.
So in poker, we call this your table image, and they're spotting you as the sucker. The only way out of it is to reverse your style of play, right? And then you can catch a couple of whoppers, and then they're like, oh, dude just changed it up. Look, you can't get out of this if you're the Joneses unless you trade one of your stars or just let them walk.
Look what they did with Osa Digizua. it took a.
Well, you had a player and an agent that wanted to work with you.
Yeah, and Steven and Adam will work with you.
Yeah.
But
what were they offering? I mean, they're threatening to do the tag if you take anywhere close to market value. They're offering you squat on the dollar to do it now. But if you wait, then you get overpaid.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what Steven is frustrated at likely that I've tried to give him 37. I've tried to give him 38.5. I've tried to give him 39. He does not want any of these. That's just my sense of listening to Stephen Jones. He don't want to talk about it anymore.
Well, doesn't Micah deserve to be the top paid player? So make him the top paid player today.
Well, who would you rather have, the Raider guy or the guy at Cleveland?
He's in the conversation for the best edge.
For 17 weeks and into the playoffs, who you taking? Who you taking?
I'm probably taking Micah as the fourth guy. After Garrett and TJ and Raiders.
Okay, there you go.
Micah's my fourth pick.
Okay.
But he's comfortably inside the top 5 of the best edges in the game. We're not talking about paying the 20th best guy.
Didn't say that. Said who would you take? Who would you take overall? Who is the guy you would pay $40 million to and take number 1 overall?
Micah Parsons is one. Oh, out of all the Miles Garrett.
Okay.
Yeah. He's not the top guy, but that's the economy of the NFL.
Well, it doesn't have to be. So the Cowboys made Dak Prescott a $60 million
So
quarterback.
Instead, let's wait 2 years and give him 50. That's what they're going to do.
No. I'm just saying they're going to end up paying top dollar for this player, and every one of you in this room did not pick him as the number 1 guy.
That's true.
So do what they're doing.
And then we're going to MF him for why are they paying these guys? Why are they paying Dak?
You got to pay Micah. Well, I think the problem is when you pay Terrence Steele $20 million like he's one of the best tackles.
It'd be the one they did with Diggs, where he's not the highest paid corner.
You're
or
kicking Diggs in the ass right now because he doesn't play.
And you can't predict injury, which is the issue, right? They could end up signing Micah Parsons. And we're all okay with that. He could end up getting hurt as well. You don't know, but they didn't make Diggs the highest paid corner in the league. They didn't make CeeDee Lamb the highest paid wide receiver in football.
And they got the deals done because they came underneath value because the players were willing to take slightly undervalue.
And if Mike is not willing to do that and they want to play hardball, I'm not going to have an issue with that.
There's just no explanation for why they're not falling in the middle. The middle would be from you rolling up your sleeves in times like this. But if you're distracted by real estate and oil deals and everything else, I just don't think you have the time for it or the interest. Or the only other theory that works is that they're using it to engage the news cycle so they can remain relevant as possible. And I think that's Jerry Jones' love language.